Enough! I hear everything you're saying. Listen, the issue that I'm having here with you is that you threw up the white flag. White flag? I didn't throw
The
up.
Miz is undoubtedly one of the most unique and entertaining superstars in WWE history. His transformation from a reality TV star to a consistent mainstay in WWE is remarkable. Yet his journey has been marred by the company's failure to fully recognize and capitalize on his potential. Despite his incredible work ethic, charisma, in-ring skills, and unparalleled microphone abilities, WWE has consistently failed to book The Miz in a way that allows him to reach the highest echelons of success. From his WWE Championship win in 2010 to his repeated relegation to mid-card status, The Miz's story is less about triumph and more about the missed opportunities that have defined his career. The early struggles, the underdog who wasn't taken seriously. The Miz's rise to the top in WWE was anything but smooth. Having initially gained fame on reality television, he entered WWE as an outsider, a reality star trying to prove himself in the world of professional wrestling. This reputation made him an easy target for locker room criticism, and for a long time, he wasn't seen as a legitimate top-tier talent. He was overlooked, mocked, and dismissed by both his peers in the WWE universe. However, Miz's determination, charisma, and exceptional mic skills eventually earned him the respect he deserved. His dedication to improving in the ring, along with his commitment to his character, gradually turned him into a compelling heel. His success wasn't instantaneous, but his slow and steady rise culminated in him winning the Money in the Bank contract in 2010, a pivotal moment in his career. This victory would later lead to a championship reign that on paper should have been a defining moment in the history of WWE. The WWE Championship, a crowning moment lost in the shadow of bigger names. In 2010, The Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on a vulnerable Randy Orton to win the WWE Championship. On paper, this should have been a defining moment for The Miz, a true underdog story. Yet it quickly became clear that WWE did not see him as a credible top guy. His championship reign was immediately undercut by poor booking, and he was depicted not as a dominant, crafty heel champion, but rather as a cowardly one, relying on outside interference and distractions to hold on to the title. The culmination of this lackluster booking was most apparent at WrestleMania 27. The Miz was booked in the main event against John Cena, but his championship reign was overshadowed by the feud between Cena and The Rock. The entire build-up to the match was more about the looming rivalry between Cena and The Rock than Miz's role as champion. As a result, when Miz retained his title in a match that should have cemented him as a top star, the moment felt like a fluke rather than a genuine achievement. Despite being the champion, Miz was relegated to the background, and his reign was treated as an afterthought in the larger storyline surrounding Cena and The Rock. Instead of using this moment to solidify Miz's position as a main event player, WWE used him merely as a vehicle to further other storylines, proving that they never truly believed in his ability to carry the company. A quick fall from grace, relegation to the mid-card. After his lackluster WWE Championship run, The Miz was quickly relegated to the mid-card. His fall from the top of the card was swift and harsh. Instead of being built up as a credible threat to the top titles, he was used to elevate other talents, most notably in secondary feuds and mid-card championship matches. His run as the Intercontinental Champion, which should have been a platform to help him regain his status as a credible champion, was another example of WWE failing to see the long-term potential in The Miz. In 2016, The Miz reinvented himself with a highly successful run as Intercontinental Champion. During this time, he cut some of the best promos of his career, and his ability to elevate the prestige of the IC title was undeniable. The famous Talking Smack promo, in which he verbally decimated Daniel Bryan, remains one of the most legendary moments in WWE history. However, instead of capitalizing on this momentum, WWE let it fade into nothing. Despite his stellar work, Miz was never elevated beyond the mid-card. The company failed to build upon his success, and once again, The Miz was left behind. The Miz is a stepping stone for others. One of the biggest issues with WWE's treatment of The Miz is their tendency to use him as a stepping stone for other talent rather than pushing him as a top-tier star himself. Time and again, Miz was used to help elevate younger or more prominent stars while never being given the same courtesy in return. His time as a transitional champion, holding the Intercontinental title until WWE was ready to transition it to Roman Reigns, was a perfect example of how WWE used Miz to push others while offering him no meaningful victories or long-term success. The Miz's role in the Daniel Bryan feud is another case in point. The build-up to their rivalry was exceptional, fueled by their real-life history, and culminated in a high-profile match. However, WWE botched this opportunity by having Bryan defeat The Miz relatively easily, failing to provide any satisfying follow-up. Despite years of build-up, Miz was quickly discarded, further cementing the perception that WWE never fully believed in his ability to be a top star. The 2021 championship run, a joke rather than a credible champion. When The Miz won the WWE Championship for a second time in 2021 by cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on Drew McIntyre, it seemed like WWE might finally be ready to invest in him. Unfortunately, the entire reign was a disaster. Miz's championship reign lasted only 8 days before he was squashed by Bobby Lashley, once again proving that WWE viewed him as little more than a placeholder champion. This short and embarrassing reign was not designed to elevate Miz, but rather to transition the title to Lashley, highlighting once again how WWE failed to take Miz seriously as a top-tier talent. This moment epitomized WWE's failure to give The Miz a legitimate run with the title and to use him as more than just a stepping stone for other talent. The comedy act undermining Miz's credibility. Another recurring issue in The Miz's career is WWE's insistence on treating him as a comedic figure rather than a serious contender. While Miz has always been capable of delivering in entertainment-driven storylines, WWE has leaned too heavily into his comedic side, turning him into the punchline of many jokes rather than allowing him to maintain a credible presence. His involvement in absurd segments like the Zombie Lumberjack match at WrestleMania Backlash in 2021 and his partnership with celebrities made it difficult for fans to take him seriously as a competitor. WWE's portrayal of The Miz as a joke has significantly undermined his credibility. When a superstar is constantly made to look weak or laughable, it becomes nearly impossible for fans to believe that they can contend for top titles. Miz's natural charisma could be used for comedic effect, but WWE has taken it too far, and as a result, Miz's legitimacy as a competitor has been severely damaged. Inconsistent booking and lack of evolution. Perhaps one of the most significant ways WWE has failed. The Miz is through their inconsistent booking. Throughout his career, Miz has rarely been allowed to have decisive, clean wins over top-tier opponents. Instead, his victories often rely on distractions, interference, or cheap tactics. This has prevented him from being viewed as a legitimate main eventer, and his long-term credibility has suffered as a result. Additionally, WWE's refusal to allow Miz to evolve as a character has been a major hindrance. While many of WWE's biggest stars have been allowed to change and adapt their personas over time, The Miz has been largely stuck in the same cocky heel character for over a decade. This lack of evolution has kept him from reaching the next level, as fans have become accustomed to seeing him in the same role year after year. Even his brief face turn in 2013 was quickly abandoned, with WWE returning him to his familiar heel persona without ever giving him a real opportunity to explore a different character. Conclusion: a career of missed opportunities. The Miz should have been one of WWE's greatest long-term success stories. He has all the tools needed to be a top star: charisma, mic skills, in-ring ability, and the dedication to his craft. Unfortunately, WWE has continually failed to invest in him at the level he deserves. Instead of allowing him to evolve and grow into a main event player, WWE has relegated him to a secondary act, using him as a stepping stone for others and undermining his credibility at every turn. In the end, The Miz's career is a story of missed opportunities, moments where WWE had the chance to create a true main event star, only to let them slip away. Despite being one of the best all-around performers in WWE, The Miz's legacy will likely be defined by the company's failure to ever fully recognize his potential.